95% of AI projects fail to deliver any value. I'm not making that number up. It comes from MIT. And even though the study was done in 2015, it's just as relevant now in 2016. How do I know? Because I'm literally just coming back from Zurich, one of Europe's innovation hubs. I was at the annual GenAI summit, and this was pretty much the main theme. Most companies realize that AI is here, that it is transformative, and that they are missing out if they don't engage with it. But at the same time, most of them are struggling to see any positive impact on their P&L from their AI initiatives. So the question is the value really there? That's what I want to untangle in this video. I do think there's tangible value in AI, but I also think that most companies approach it from the wrong angle. So let's get into this, what most companies get wrong and how you can do better. Most of us, when we think about AI, we think in visions. We imagine massive efficiency gains, fully autonomous business processes, and of course, we're willing to invest to get there. After all, once we implement AI, it will save us money and justify the costs, right? Here's the thing. The only guaranteed thing with AI is a monthly bill. You will get that token consumption bill from Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, or whoever you're using. And even if you're running your own custom LLM, you'll still have compute costs. Maybe not API calls, but energy consumption and infrastructure costs in other forms. And that's on top of the massive sunk costs you incur just by building the AI project in the first place. Now, the benefits that people get the most excited about, those are far from guaranteed. In fact, you are betting against the odds. If the MIT report is anything to go by, and if you look at other reports over time, like Data IQ and others, in my experience being at the conference, the pattern is pretty consistent. So far, many companies have seen negative results from AI. So is the problem really AI? My subjective opinion, and that's again my opinion, is that it's a mix of things, but surprisingly little of it has to do with AI capability itself. One big problem we see is the FOMO. Companies are afraid they will be left behind, so they rush to adopt AI at any cost. But from a pure investment perspective, that often leads to a huge misallocation of funds. Most businesses rely on tribal knowledge. These are the things that only Bob knows: Excel files, custom macros, workflows no one fully understands. The original creator, Bob, might be long gone, but the files remain, the macros still run, and people keep using them. Not because they are efficient or the most reliable, but because that's how it's always been done. That kind of environment is horrible for AI. AI needs standardization and connectivity. When you try to apply AI to a business where the processes aren't set up correctly, it's like taking a massive winding trail created by years of human backgrounds and covering it with expensive digital asphalt. If the underlying logic is broken, GenAI is not a solution. It's just a faster way to make more mistakes. It's not going to help. So in my opinion, the real transformation does not come from forcing AI into human-centric workflows. It comes from re-engineering those workflows to be AI compatible. For example, instead of a dozen disconnected Excel files, you might create a database or an API to act as a single source of truth. Instead of logic hidden in macros and gut feel, you can make everything documented, modular, and rule-based. Instead of manual reports that are prone to human error, you can produce clean, structured data that machines can use. This is the kind of transformation that gives you transparent processes that can eventually be orchestrated in an agentic framework, and where GenAI use cases can be implemented where they actually make sense. And notice that you can do all of this without writing a single line of code for a fancy new AI tool and spending $0 on token costs. Yes, updating your processes to be AI ready is an investment itself. It also sounds way more boring than piloting a shiny new tool, and it can even feel like you're already missing out. But you're not, and that's important. You're just laying the groundwork, and you're saving a ton of money by not burning it on flashy pilots that have little chance of succeeding because your business is structurally not ready to use AI properly. Let's make it concrete with an example. Say you're a company selling across 3 platforms: your website, Amazon, and Instagram. There is an inventory manager. Let's call him Marcus. Every morning, Marcus exports sales data from each platform and manually updates a master sheet in Excel. The warehouse runs on an old system from 28. It can't talk to Instagram, Amazon, or even Excel. So Marcus has to type shipping details into it by hand just so boxes get labeled and sent out. Because everything is disconnected, If a product sells out at noon, still shows as available on Instagram until Marcus updates it in the next morning. So you can see that the business is already operating on fragmented data. Now let's say the owner decides to go AI. They invest in tools that generate product descriptions, predict demand, optimize marketing campaigns. On paper, it sounds like a big step forward. But here's what actually happens. The AI sees Marcus's spreadsheet as reality. So it starts recommending increasing ad spend on products that already sold out, reordering items that are actually overstocked, pushing high demand products that haven't been updated in days. Now the company isn't just inefficient, it's making worse decisions and potentially losing money faster than before they implemented AI. It probably won't take long until refunds increase, customer satisfaction drops, costs increase, and the store owner decides to pull the plug on AI and go back to how things were. But the key thing, and that's my point really, is that the AI didn't fail. It backfired because it was added on top of broken foundations. The company didn't need more AI, but they definitely needed a better system and a better workflow with fewer bottlenecks. So here's what they could have done instead. Right now, every platform has its own version of truth. They could replace the Excel file with a single system where every product has one identity, one SKU shared across all channels. That alone eliminates the need for daily manual reconciliation. Marcus's spreadsheet is probably full of inconsistencies. He might have dark blue in one row and darkish blue in another. For an AI system, it's quite chaotic. It either struggles to interpret it or wastes effort trying to clean it up. So this can also be avoided by defining structured, consistent attributes from the start. Right now, Marcus sits in the middle of every update. With proper APIs and integrations, you can have a system where a warehouse can update inventory instantly, stock levels sync across Amazon, the website, and Instagram in real time, and there's just no wait until tomorrow morning. So only after this foundation is in place does AI start to make sense. The point is, this company didn't really have an intelligence problem, they had a latency problem, and if they had tried to AI their way out of it, they probably would have missed the core issue. This is what most companies do. Unfortunately, they invest directly in AI without making sure the infrastructure is there for those AI initiatives to actually move the needle. Now, before we wrap up, I know it's a tough pill to swallow to basically pause AI while you fix the plumbing. It can look to investors or employees like you're reluctant to adopt new tech or not innovative enough. So for anyone who still wants to do AI projects while the bigger transformation is happening, I recommend going for the low-hanging fruit. Luckily, most organizations have plenty of it. For example, and depending on the implementation, this might not even need AI. A proper ticket classification system can save a ton of manual work. Think about something that automatically categorizes ServiceNow, Jira, or Azure DevOps tickets and routes them to the right team, or in an e-commerce setting, an intent classification system that tags customer messages as payment issue, product defect, general question, and so on, and routes them accordingly. These are the kind of things that are fairly easy to do and can clearly save time and can be tied to KPIs like faster response times or fewer hours spent on admin. And most importantly, they are also the same systems you can extend later, because later, instead of routing emails to a team, you might route them to a specialized AI agent that's connected to your ERP tools. The agent drafts the response and the human reviewer just approves a message. That's already a more complex agentic workflow, but the point is you don't have to give up bigger ambitions and you don't have to do everything at once either. Start simple, prove incremental value at each stage, and then build complexity gradually. By the way, one of the biggest insurance companies in Switzerland is running a full-blown agentic marketing campaign where everything from keyword research to persona creation to creatives is handed off to dedicated AI agents. Honestly, it's quite remarkable. And based on what they said on stage, the results are comparable to last year when they run the campaign with a full team of people. That's very promising, and it strengthens my belief that not all AI projects are doomed to fail. There's a lot of value to be unlocked with AI, but we have to be patient and we have to build a solid foundation first. That really seems to be the differentiator, at least from what I've seen. Let me know in the comments what you think. I generally love to hear your take, whether you agree, disagree, or want to add something. And of course, subscribe if you found the video helpful.